Comedy's really hard, and right now, like, we have so many comedians that are struggling with the cancel culture topic. And there's one, you know who got canceled this week? Tony Hinchcliffe.
See, I don't know. I don't watch comics. I don't know anything about comics. I don't know what they do. I intentionally don't watch well-known, famous professional comedians on purpose. I just I root for them. I want everybody to do well, but what I heard, I read about it.
I'll tell you what happened.
I saw a headline or something about it.
Hinchcliffe ran a show, a live show. He did it in different comedy clubs. Recently, he's been doing it at Antone's in Texas, where his whole thing, it was live on YouTube. He would have a table set up in a club, and it was basically an open mic. So he had him, he had maybe Brian Redvan, and he had maybe some other like pro guests come on, you know, that would show up on the show. And what they would do is they would have a bucket. Everyone put their name in the bucket that was in the audience. They draw a name out. You come up. You get 60 seconds.
Nice.
To do comedy.
That's fucking fire. That's under fire. I like it.
What they would do is after the 60 seconds were up, he would ask them about themselves. Who are you? What's something interesting about you? They would talk back and forth. He would and they would actually kind of try to get to know that comic a little bit, and then they would throw, you know, a little bit of roast, a little bit of jokes at them and stuff, and they kind of go back and forth.
Right.
And I got you. Tony was a little bit more. He's a little bit more of a roaster kind of host in a way.
Right.
So
I ain't crazy about that, but go ahead.
It's cool. And
some people like it. People like it. Everybody likes different things. Right. People like that shit.
It's a huge stage to be up there as a comic in front of professional comics.
Right.
You know, like.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, you know, you give somebody a chance like that, and then you rip them.
Well, but it's not ripping them in a degrading or distasteful way. It's ripping them and then also saying, like, you know what, you did great, you had a good set. Or if they didn't have a good set, he would even come up and still be like, well, that didn't go as planned, but maybe, you know, we'll see you next time. And there are people that get up there multiple times.
Fair enough. So what happened?
What happened is he was actually not doing that show. He was doing an actual set at another. I don't think it was at Antone's. I have to look it up. I don't think it was at Antone's.
Right.
At another place. The comic who brought him up on stage was an Asian comic, and I don't know what that guy's set was about. But Tony's, when he got up there, he basically said he called him I think he called him a dirty fucking chink, is what he called him. And I don't know what the context.
You think that's what he called him? Or
I think that's what he called him. I think that it was either stupid. Fucking, it was definitely fucking chink.
Was the word.
Right. Chink was the derogatory term that he used to describe. And we just talked about Asian and racism.
Wow.
But I don't know in what as a comedian, if the context was supposed to be funny or if the context was supposed to be like, that's Tony just trying to be mean to him for no reason.
You know,
either way, the comedian that he said it to took a clip of it because it was being recorded, the show.
Which everything is now.
Right, everything's recorded. Posted it to social media and said that it wasn't okay. And Tony's management company dropped him. Antone said he's not allowed to come back to Antone's anymore. They do not support any of this stuff. And they basically canceled Tony Hinchcliffe in a matter of a day. It's pretty wild. But in comedy, there's a line. And it's a fine line because someone else could have said it.
I don't think it's that. See, I'll tell you my opinion. I'll tell you my opinion because I've seen that happen at open mics where people have said something offensive enough for the host at the open mic to yank them. I've seen people get kicked out of the room. I don't know if you know who Michael Richards is.
Yep.
I saw Michael Richards and what he did out in LA a few years ago. Here's what I would say to all of them. Because I push the limits on stage as much as anybody. I will cover any topic. I will cover anything. I will do anything on stage that I believe will. But you don't ever. The one rule, in my opinion, and it's not a fine line. It's a real distinct, clear fucking line, is you don't attack somebody who's less powerful than you are.
That's fair.
The only person that you attack, the only people you go after are the people that are more powerful than you bigger than you, stronger than you. You don't ever hit down. And if you hit down, you're gonna, and that's, to me, that's why this whole cancel culture thing I don't buy it. I think it's made up shit. It's not, look, it's don't be a dick. We do a segment on this show. Don't be a dick. And the person who's being a dick isn't being a dick because they're saying something to insult somebody who's above them.
Right.
You can attack people above you. I do it all day long. I attack everybody. My whole passion is attacking the government and the people that have been elected by us to serve us.
Right.
And the people who are in charge of us at our jobs. But not my coworkers, not the people that are, on the level that I'm at, not even the people that are out there that are struggling. You just don't hit down. And if you hit down, you're going to get bit. And to me, in my opinion, cancel culture, if that's what you want to call it, what you're getting is your comeuppance and what you deserve.
Okay,
And
fair.
and
This is what he
you
said.
should be aware of it.
This is what he actually said. He said, when the guy came up, he said, how about one more time for the filthy effing chink that was just up here? All you effing race traders are hooping and hollering. I was back there watching you puking in an effing bucket. He said, then he used a fake Asian accent and said, oh, we make gunpowder. Oh, you want extra soy sauce. Oh, you borrow money from us. Switching to his regular voice. Are you guys just eating it up? So that was the clip. And it was, but what's crazy about it is somebody else could have said something equally degrading. And it,
What do you
in
mean?
a different room of people with a different person watching, it'd have been completely okay. That's what's crazy about comedy. A different comedian could have been like, you've been an asshole, but whatever. This guy took offense. But we just talked about last week or Thursday about racism toward Asians and how I'm like, they don't ever say anything. This guy said something. He stood up for himself and said, this is not okay, which is great. And like you said,
Well, I don't remember what we talked about last time.
And you were like, well, no, it happens. We just act like they don't exist at all, which is true. It's crazy to me because, and so props to the guy for standing up to himself.
Yeah, man,
and,
look.
And Tony crossed the line with what he said.
Crossed the line, way past the line. Look, what he said and what we were saying he said wasn't even close. Dude, sorry, you can't do that.
Right.
And if you're him, look, you have not, and I have not, achieved that level of success.
Right.
I can assure you, and I can tell you this, as I'm aspiring for us to one day become successful. If you do that shit, I'll cancel your ass right there too.
And that's
I can't.
Isn't that kind of like the irony is that the guys who aren't known, they can get away with saying shit like that because
No,
no
man,
one knows that we canceled them.
No, we can't. But we hopefully what'll be a part of accomplishing what we accomplish is that you don't do that.
Right.
Like I said, man, the rule is clear. It's not a fine line. It's not difficult to not cross. You do not punch down. The dude is the big dude.
Right.
He's the main dude. He's who everybody
main guy.
came to see. And then you got a guy out there who's working, who's struggling, who to him, and I can say this from being in his spot, that's his big break. That's his moment. He's getting to introduce this guy.
Right.
He's getting to bring this guy up on stage who he looks up to, who he admires. You and I both know how hard he had to work to get that spot. How many people wanted that spot? Everybody wanted that spot to be able to bring that famous guy up. I've brought famous people up on stage before. I brought plenty of famous people up on stage. I've emceed a shitload in my life. I brought a lot of motherfuckers. I brought Billy Gardell up on fucking stage back before Billy Gardell was Billy Gardell. I brought all the fucking redneck, blue collar motherfuckers. I've worked with every single one of them motherfuckers. I brought them all up on stage. I know what that feels like. And I can fucking tell you this. If any one of them had attacked, and none of them did, by the way, every single one of them that I ever brought up that was somebody of any renown, and there was more. I worked at a club down in Tampa, Florida called Side Splitters that had a famous comic in there every single fucking weekend. And I was all but the house MC. So for about 2 or 3 years, I brought people up all the fucking time, every week, working as hard as I could to do a good job in front of them and bring them up. And did a live audition where 35 fucking comics got 30 seconds each to audition for the spot. So I know how hard it was to get that spot. And motherfucker, I can promise you, if one of those motherfuckers had said jack fucking shit about me, I'd have gone right back up on stage and laid him fucking out, famous or not, on the fucking spot. He did the right thing. Dude, don't treat people that way. If you got canceled, sorry for you. Will you get a chance to make a comeback? Maybe so.
Right. Yeah,
Maybe
it happened
so.
for Richards, did it? He never made a comeback.
No, he
was
hasn't.
done.
He hasn't, but his was 1,000 times worse than what this guy did. 1,000. I'm not even going to say what he did. Folks, if you want to look up what Michael Richards did, look up what Michael Richards did. But he's done and should be. Should be. There's no apologizing for what he did. There's no coming back from what he did. Nobody wants anything to do with him, and nobody ever will. And when I saw it, I would never watch it again. It was that fucking painful. And I don't know if you remember, but they brought him on the Letterman show. They had Jerry Seinfeld on the Letterman show the next night after that happened, and they brought him on for Seinfeld, who was about to release his 600 episode fucking CD set of the show, and this was headlining over top of him releasing those fucking CDs, and they brought Michael Richards on to try to explain what happened, and what could he say?
What could you say?
Nothing.
And that was prior to like all of the stuff we have now, technology and instant and YouTube and
This was
Instagram.
back.
This
I don't think it was even
15,
recorded
20
on a
years ago.
phone. I think that was recorded on an
actual camera,
on a
like,
camera at the club.
Yeah,
that they
no, it was
kept.
bad. It was
bad. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. And I said to myself as I watched it, and I watched it once, and I would never watch it again. I said to myself, he's done.
Yeah.
Nobody
It's
will
crazy.
ever hire him
I can't even
again.
imagine. I can't even think of a comic that has said something even remotely close to as bad as Richard. Honestly, Hinchcliffe's probably the second closest at this point.
Well,
can't
I
think
don't
of
know. First of all, there's a lot of people out there that said some bad shit. There's a lot of people out there that said some bad
lately,
shit.
but not for saying shit.
You
Dane
know,
Cook got
I don't-
canceled pretty good. But
who?
Dane Cook. I
Did
don't
he?
remember He been away for a while. He was like.
Well,
on top
what's
of
his
the
name?
world. We don't know.
Louis C.K.
Yeah, but Louis didn't say anything.
That wasn't on stage.
That was outside stage.
Absurd behavior.
Yeah,
out there.
but we can honestly say that Louis does. He had said some things that were definitely on the edge of being not okay.
Well,
in his
again,
bits.
you got to decide,
But
man.
I get what you're saying though with punching up. Like if the Asian comic, if the roles were reversed and the comic going that was introducing the Asian guy was let's say Hinchcliffe wasn't him. He was the guy bringing him up, and he had said something, a punch at the guy above him, and then they went back and forth. Maybe it would have been different. But I get what you're saying. It's way worse when
even
it's the guy on top.
then, what he said crosses whatever line.
Yeah.
Can you punch up? Yeah, but look,
Yeah,
if I'm bringing Chappelle up on stage, if I'm bringing Chris Rock up on stage, if I'm bringing Kevin Hart up on stage, I'm bringing them up on stage with respect.
Right.
I'm bringing them up on stage for the audience that is there to see them.
Right.
And you got it, and you better understand that, and that better be clear. What's that fucking guy that works with the puppets?
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham.
Yeah.
I got fired by Jeff Dunham in New York a week after 9/11, emceeing for him at Bananas in New York City, and I got fired by Jeff Dunham because my set wasn't clean enough.
Really?
And he wanted a clean set in front of him, and I thought I did one. I tried. That's why I do what I do now, because I don't give a fuck. So if you want me now, you're going to see who I am, what I say,
And
how
that's
I
the way
act.
it should be. It should be unapologetic.
And they knew that going into that situation, and they were like, well, we're going to hire you to work for Dunham, but you got to be clean. I was like, what the fuck do you want me to say? I don't even know what the fuck to say. So I went up there and did what I thought was right. He fired me. That's cool. I'm not mad at him. No hard feelings. Hire somebody else. Get somebody that's right for the gig, not me. But dude, if you're the guy, you can't. You just can't. You can't, especially with the racial and the dirty and the calling him. Man, come on, man.
Yeah,
you can.
right,
You're better
man.
than that.
You can do better.
We're there's and I know there's 50,000 comics competing for every paid gig that exists.
Right.
50,000, not just 50,000 people that want to do it, that are spending most of their life and sacrificing their sanity, their time, their money, their effort. What the fuck is this? What the fuck are you doing? Jesus Christ! I got a dog right on my fucking crotch. I thought there was only one big ass fucking dog. Now the little one's even fucking worse.
Yeah, it's a little
God
dog.
damn!
He's
All right,
real lovely.
bro. I got you.
He's super
You're
happy
good.
to see people. He loves people.
You're good. What the shit? Anyway. So anyway, no, I'm saying just if there's that many people out there that are trying to get that gig, you're good. They're trying to get that gig. You got to have the level of respect for each other, just for each other, man. We should never go up there and rip each other. And I hope he doesn't. And we'll move on because I don't dislike that dude. I hope he comes back.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
It should be a while before he does.
I'm sure it'll be a little bit.